the gore of what they like to show you is taking place in IT. It is consistent with what was being built by our leaders, um, Dati Boukman, Cécile Fatiman,
Sure.
Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And so this brother has been doing this work and trying to educate, to heal, to feed, and lead the effort of self-determination and sovereignty in IT. And the sister, we are very pleased and privileged to have our sister Saskia, who's been working closely with brother Kamal and
Give
can give us a lot more contemporary information, current
perfect.
information. Sorry.
Right. So give
Thank you.
thanks. Yeah, give thanks for that as well. And also with us, as has been mentioned, is our comrade, our sister, Saskia Sana Busquet. And she is a social impact strategist. So I'd like for persons to like hold on to that for a second. So recognize what that is, because that's a little different than some of us that may speak of certain information. And so we want to make sure we clarify that we're talking about someone that understands the technology, but also knows how to make that pragmatic, right? A
Yes.
grassroots coalition builder, a visionary founder of Deeds. And I know we will get an opportunity to know exactly what Deeds is, a gamified ecosystem advancing cooperative economics, social service, and data driven equity. Comrade Sana integrates lived experience, ancestral wisdom, and innovative policy thinking to design scalable, tech enabled solutions rooted in cultural systems and collective power. Her work transforms community needs into measurable impact through data analysis, cooperative development, and bold system change. It's an honor and a privilege to have you join us, Sister Queen Saskia.
Thank you so much. I am honored to be here and speak to both of you and just to convey this message and get this message out about our brother Kamal. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor to have you. So, part of, for those that are viewing, those that are listening, and why are we speaking on this again? Because Haiti has to be at the center of our conversations all the time until there's authentic liberation, authentic non interference from external forces, authentic peace and sustainability and security, because the areas of power have been interfered with. So that's why we're speaking about it today. While there's a whole thrust of, Black August, a lot of civil rights conversations, a lot of human rights conversations, a lot of activities around various organizations that use the month of August as also known as Messiah Month, geared around the work of the Honorable, illustrious Marcus Messiah Garvey and others. And then there's a significant number of birth dates of significant freedom fighters. There's a variety of observances in IT around this time of August where persons need to be very clear on the spiritual, social, political, economic elements of engagement. So we're always pulling in our ancestors and showing that recognition, that respect, and that honoring, and always giving voice offerings even before we speak on things that may seem political or seem socially engaging only through technology, economics, etc. So we just want to take a moment of reflection as we get ready to speak on a variety of issues that will seem very emotional, so that we can speak truth as power and have solutions that are driven to make sure that all of our brothers and sisters are safe, protected, secure, with prosperity and wealth in abundance in a revolutionary context, right? That way, when we're getting ready to talk about will not hit as hard as how it sounded earlier this morning. So for those that are just tuning in, you're listening to our speaks. We have with us our comrade Felipe Noguera, along with our comrade Saskia Sana Busquet, who represents a variety of persons that are aware of what's happening on the ground. So, Brother Felipe, I really would like for you to set a part of what even initiated this more immediate podcast broadcast in regard to what's happening with our comrade Kamal Muhammad and his work in Haiti.
Okay, thank you to you, comrade
We lost your visual.
Chen, Dr. Chen.
Yeah, we lost your visual.
Okay, and because I'm trying to.
Okay, take your time.
I took the. One second. I just wanted to share with you what I think prompted this conversation this evening, at which the words of Comrade Kamal Muhammad and the work he's doing in IT. I'm not sure if I played it, you would be able to hear him. I just want to experiment. We're using the technology, but let's see if you can hear it and your listeners can hear it. Let's see what happens.
We're not hearing what you might be playing. If it's coming from your same device, that could be the reason that it's not really playing. Was that a recording that you shared with your message earlier today?
He did not share this earlier in our meeting.
Okay.
But if you guys would love to hear some words from Brother Kamal, I have plenty of voice notes.
Well, I think that what would be ideal would be to give some context to our viewers and listeners, so that they would know what was sparking this. So while Brother Felipe is navigating through that, I just want to highlight that there were a number of exchanges inside of various platforms within our Caribbean Pan-African community to really speak to a number of things that are happening. So Brother Kamal has been very significant as an active comrade and partner on the ground in Haiti, just regarding certain activities around the activation of the deeds methodology, as was shared with us, and that there was a whole intention in preparation for a launch to take place between August, I believe, the 22nd and the 23rd, to really help navigate a way and how the story of what's taking place in Haiti and bringing that to the global diaspora. And so the intention was, according to what Brother Felipe shared with us, was this was going to be an opportunity to let Kamal's own words and his work speak for themselves in terms of showcasing what has been accomplished over the past decade. So, and it's important for persons to know this is not something that just happened since the last years of crisis and, assassinations and gang activities and so forth and so on, but like an ongoing term of service and dedication to Haitian communities, the people, etc. And so there were a number of videos and audios that have been compiled so that the content of what Kamal has been doing in terms of his depth of leadership and vision and commitment and dedication to the upliftment of the people of Haiti through the lens of people with boots on the ground, through the lens of brothers and sisters of Haiti, not something external, being exposed in any form.
Right.
It was really highlighted that his work is very essential, and that it serves as, and I love this particular term that our comrade Felipe shared, he is a national treasure for all of Haiti, even for those who do not yet know him. And I think it's really important that was shared, from our comrade, and that the whole idea of tonight's broadcast was that our focus was not to go into the gangs and the conflict or the blame piece, but to really illuminate on the goodness and the impact and the sovereign leadership that our comrade. No worries, we're good. We got you going. We got you. We're waiting for you. We're just going through our summary of what you gave us in regard to.
Oh, you weren't able to hear him?
We couldn't hear him.
I was trying to play him.
It's okay.
You couldn't. I'm sorry. Because
that's okay. No worries. We got you.
But basically, what he was saying. what what he was saying, and I think the reason I was playing it is because I'm convinced that that statement, when they heard that statement, they realized he was more dangerous to them, to the oligarchy, and to their plan for IT than any of the so-called gangs and their leaders. Why? Why do I say that? I say that because by working and building agriculture with the roots and building it in the sovereign lands, his family's land. This is a descendant of both. I don't know if he shared this with you. He's a descendant of both Dessalines and Pétion. So he straddles tú eres dominicana, yo sé. Entonces, they have the same, he has their cousins, right? So the work that he's doing to show how we can feed ourselves, how we can collect clean water, how we can take care of our elders, educate with health and with traditional as medicine, how we can educate our youth, how we can use what's under the surface of the land. Because as we know, IT is rich, vastly rich in terms of not only hydrocarbon resources, oil, but with lithium and with the rare iridium, which is used for the aerospace program. All these things are not in the media when they talk about earthquakes. They're not talking about gang warfare and hate. But I am convinced, I may be wrong, sisters, but I am convinced that it is not any gang members that are holding our brother. And this is why I think this program is so important. When the police executed some of the young brothers, and the sister can tell you more about it, who were working, and he said that, I told them not to run. It was the Kenyan soldiers, so-called police, who, in their fear and in their ignorance, committed these atrocities, according to the brothers of Kosala. And I had to give them some Kiswahili phrases that would assist them, which were sisi tunataka mapinduzi sasa, and uhuru, umoja, ubuntu, words that would resonate with these Kenyans who are looking at scenes from home where their fellow countrymen, young people, are being shot down in the streets, unarmed, not only in Nairobi, but in Mombasa and in other parts of the country. And to appeal to their humanity, appeal to their identity in order to resist. But the main point now is that if it is the police, if it is the government, transitional government that is supported and has been supported by CARICOM and by the United Nations, then we call on them to ensure the safe release of Brother Kamal Muhammad. He has committed no crime. He has done nothing but work peacefully with the people. And even when approached by the so-called gang members, the response of he and his team members has been to develop economic self-reliance and do not depend on oligarchs and their money, because who pays the piper calls the tune. Now, I want to turn over to the sister, if I may, because she has a lot more
absolutely
particular information that would be relevant.
We were just giving context so persons understood why we added this podcast like today for today. Usually we have time to lead out and invite persons, but it was based on a very urgent message that you put out in regard to where is our brother Kamal, and making sure that he's safe and he's protected and secured and returned to continue this work, and now you're speaking specifically to a series of commentaries that he's put out publicly, and then we having difficulty finding him. So it's really important to us to let the world know that we're looking for our brother, and they need to make sure they produce him safe on the heart, right? Yes. So sisters, Comrade Saskia, please.
In terms of, hold on, did you ask a specific question, or do you just want me to just speak on?
I thought that's what I did, but if you speak freely and just let it work as that conversation piece, that will be just fine. Because part of what we had from let's say from the scripted portion, what we were dealing with was really an extension of the type of mobilization of what's happening with within the Haitian community, and of course the Haitian diaspora, inclusive of the U.S., Canada, the wider Caribbean, and the world, and just being able to speak truth around what the organization Deeds is, what it represents, some of the partnerships with COSAHA, which was a part of this 1 year challenge, and just the connections of the trust and transparency platforms. So if you can speak to that, and then again highlight these principles of the work that our brother Kamal has been leading in regard to economic sovereignty programs, I feel that it's really important for those that are viewing and listening. Why this is so critical today is because before his disappearance, and we know what that means in current times, before his disappearance, Kamal was preparing to meet with community leaders to offer a path toward true freedom and economic self-determination. And based on what was shared with us by our comrades, in his own words, everyone deserves an opportunity to choose the righteous path. So there's a number of things that we'll speak to in terms of what was to be put in place to honor his vision. But our priority is making sure that he is located, protected, safe, and unharmed, him and his family and those that are working with him. So please, with that, if you can navigate through that, I think that gave enough content for you to speak.
Yes, definitely, for sure. So Kamal's organization, COSAHA, which stands for Konbit Sovereign Haitian Association, which really just embody the values of the work that he has been doing. Over the last 10 years, he has developed several different sites across Haiti, all the way from the south up to the north, in terms of organizing those that are, he would call them uncivilized, uneducated, but the greatest people in the world, and teaching them the economic sovereign way, and teaching them on how to work interdependently to move the mission forward together. He has been able, in the last 10 years, to gather and galvanize over 3,000 citizens, and has been able to consolidate over 500 hectares of land, of sovereign land, that he is looking to harvest, reap a bountiful harvest, the inheritance of his deeds. And so when I think about Kamal, and when I say that he's a national treasure, even to those who do not know him yet, I think what I am trying to say is that I would equate what Kamal is doing in Haiti to the works of Ibrahim Traore. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but this is the spirit that Kamal carries. Beautiful. And unfortunately, many people within our culture do not carry that intellectual.
I agree. That's not an overstatement. Sorry to interrupt you. I agree with you, definitely.
Yes, it's very, very real, right? And so even in this situation, while it is devastating, as I went back to the voice notes, I'm literally listening to Kamal prepare me for this moment. And I'm not saying like I don't know if he foreshadowed it, but he always explained about the balance of, hey, if you say, my name means protector of mankind. So he says, if you say you're the protector of mankind, you're also calling the resistance that comes with being the protector of mankind. If you say, I want to rule the world, you're also calling on the resistance. And so being able to go back to those voice notes allowed me to change my perspective and understanding that the density of the work that Kamal is doing is an indication to the height of the future of Haiti. And I vow here, and I vow till my last breath, despite the circumstances of Kamal, everybody in Haiti will know his name, and they will know who he is and how he has contributed to creating the economic sovereign algorithm that Haiti will catalyze through this very movement. Me and Kamal would always talk about how this revolution would catalyze. And I would talk about how exhausted I am. And I'm just like, I don't know how it's going to come to fruition, but I know that the opportunity is going to present itself. Did I think like that? Like this? Absolutely not. But I truly believe that sometimes divine synchronicity can also be like something negative, something, it's like that pressure that causes you to step into your glory and to step into your power. And I'm listening to his voice notes basically tell me, he's like, you need to get that last, he called it that last smell of hell off. But he says it in the most compassionate and gentle way in terms of us preparing ourselves to do this work and be convicted and stand firm in the work, because we're going to meet resistance. He told me something like this would happen. We've talked about this. If this happens, and I would make a joke and I'd be like, you make me, come and, save you, or, just a little fun banter. But I truly believe that through this, what people see as a tragedy, we can flip the narrative. And, I'm a millennial, so we can pull the Uno reverse card. And what people may think is something that should be grimy, should be aggressive, should be, us blame. There's a lot of blame. Us turning it into a healing, compassionate movement of what our brother embodies and how we can galvanize our people all across the globe and all across the diaspora to see the leader that we have before us. To me, Kamal he's an asset to every stakeholder in Haiti, from the the extreme impoverished citizen to the bourgeoisie, to the police officers, to the gang chiefs. I have content of Kanal speaking from every perspective and being able to get to get in the empathize, that's the word, to empathize and be able to understand how we got to this place and what it will take for us to be able to uprise and finding this common shared purpose, which is economic sovereignty. Many people, especially, I'm in the United States, and the way what is happening in Haiti, the way that it's showcased, it's completely inaccurate. And I kind of lost my train of thought. Do you have any piggyback comments or questions? I know it's going to come to me.
See, ideally, I think you're already on that, and you're a millennial. You all don't really forget. You all just over compartmentalize things, and that's fine. And it's because you were already in that train. You were already giving us the context of how to know who Kamal is, to recognize that he's doing a significant amount of work with boots on the ground. And I like this. I keep saying boots on the ground because it's like, I can't say just moccasins and I can't just say chancleta. I have to say like really like heavy steel toe, really dig in to do these types of things. And I want to highlight that one of the things that was so urgent for me when I hear persons have disappeared, like I said, no, we can't do this next week. We need to do this now, to make sure that we put in the ethos that the world is looking for our brother. And it's really important that they know that he may seem like, just because you don't know who he is, Let us tell you who he is. What is he doing? How is he contributing to the upliftment of Haiti? Right. I think it's really critical. I think it's also important, as Brother Felipe shared with us in these messages, because a lot of times we share a lot of things. WhatsApp has become like our other, that's a whole other platform besides Facebook and Instagram and so forth. But to have the context, right? But to know that, and I'm going to quote you both on this regard, to honor his vision, speaking of our brother Kamal, and secure his safe return, we are initiating a $1 million agricultural and technology investment campaign tied to a formal deeds negotiation contract for Sit Abundas in henceforth. The contract will stipulate that if we secure 1 million in assets from global allies, all stakeholders, including the Viv Ansam Group, government, police, local oligarchs, will agree to full sovereignty for Sit Abundance under the empire of Toya de Salines, zero interference, and a complete ceasefire, the release of Kamal and all citizens currently in captivity, the peaceful return of displaced Sit Abundance residents. Because again, the highlight is while we're highlighting which part our brother there, where is our brother Kamal? Find he, make sure he protected, he's safe. Because this could turn into something else, right? It's not only about finding him, but it's about advancing the work that he has dedicated his life to, and making sure that we're building sovereign, self-sustaining Haiti, not just Haiti free, liberated, but a sovereign, self-sustaining Haiti, to make sure that his life, that Kamal's life's wisdom, his contributions do not go in vain. And so there's been a lot of conversation, as you've just said, he's prepared you for this, right? And that's how come if you lose your train of thought, it's because you are definitely multitasking on the concern you have for your brethren, and also for the next layer of work that you all were already involved in and what you need to do. And just look at some of us that are a little older than millennials. We have here, and we're holding, not only holding sacred space, but we're asking our ancestors and all of those great ones before us for sure, and those present, and our youth, to bring that revolutionary fire, keep that revolutionary spark in regards to how we move forward and really generating things. So make sure that as we're doing these types of broadcasts and conversations, give people emails that they can contact you. Give us the links, and place the links inside of, anytime you put the links inside of the comment area, it's going to populate inside of, we're live streaming on YouTube, but we're also live streaming on Facebook as well. And as we keep it moving, we can put it into other platforms. So please share some of that content so persons know, this work is very valuable. This work is obviously connected to our people. And obviously, because people are seeing, I love how you put that, Brother Felipe, that because of the urgency of the work and moving in a sovereign space, then it becomes even more, because we didn't hear this on the news. The news is usually just about the
can I
please this is a conversation. This is not,
I wanted to say,
having fun.
I wanted to comment on Sister Saskia's statement that people might think was hyperbole, that was an exaggeration, when she compared Brother Kamal Mohammed to President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. That was my impression as well. Extremely humble, very nice, very friendly, warm, a great sense of humor, and certainly rooted among the people. Rooted every time we speak, we would, so definitely, no, that there's no exaggeration there. But to tell you how so, is that one of the key financiers for the 8th Pan-African Congress, which, as you know, we are in the process of planning and organizing for next year, is that the model that COSAHA's building is the model that we want to advance as the political economy of global Pan-Africanism. In other words, you use the phrase sustainable sovereignty. Sustainable sovereignty is political economy. It is both managing our own affairs, as the Right Honorable Marcus Josiah Garvey was clearly advocating, but also it is, as Brother Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois was saying, making sure that we have control of our governance. And as the state, the existing neocolonial states in our regions, neocolonial states are proving themselves incapable of withstanding what's taking place at the center of imperial decomposition. I don't mean, you're seeing it. You're seeing that what used to be have the veneer of democracy and some kind of representative majority government give way to autocracy and command, and it's going to create a major. We're already seeing it, but the resistance that is being demonstrated by the Haitian diaspora community in New York, for example, is very important in terms of defending any semblance of genuine democracy. But what Brother Kamal and COSAHA is doing, what they are doing, and what I'm seeing with Sister Saskia, I'm praying that the brothers and sisters in Abundance have that capacity to continue this work. I mean, we're fighting for the location and the release of Brother Kamal. But if, God forbid, we don't get him back, how does that work? Carry on? How do we ensure that the vision that he was working on is not lost?
Thank you. I'm glad that you asked that question, because I wanted to go back to the outcomes and the investment and the negotiation contract. And I know people can initially look at it and say, okay, that's kind of that's kind of an exaggeration. Is that possible? But when I thought about and I reflected, and I really took time after finding out officially that Kamal was missing, I said, what would Kamal want? What would the outcome be? Dead or alive? What would he want? And for me, it would be that Sita Bandas is completely sovereign, and that he is able to sow his seed in the ground, and leave an infrastructure and a system that we can utilize in the multiple areas of Haiti to rebuild. And so right now, my intention is to catalyze a global movement so that we have the largest konbit in the world, digitized konbit, which is when we come together for communal labor in our villages for our people, to make sure that that seed that he planted stays on the ground, in the ground, and is nurtured and is it was nurtured and it's taken care of and it grows. And that is something that nobody can ever take from him, regardless of the circumstances moving forward. And so for me, it is important, we have a methodology, and it's a 6-step methodology. And the way that we were developing this digitized konbit, that's really what it is. It's a digitized konbit and susu, and what we call is sol, to track transparency and accountability. Well, why would we want to do that? Because before anybody will invest in Haiti, before anybody will make a commitment to the long-term advancement of Haiti, we need to find an ethical methodology on how to rebuild trust, how to restore integrity, how to restore dignity back to the people. And the only way you can do that is through consistency and accountability. And Kamal is Kamal is about accountability, about taking our responsibility, about looking in the mirror and say, well, how did I contribute? As a diaspora person, I was born here. So technically I can say this is not my problem. But he has a way of showing how it is it's each person's responsibility. And we do not have the right to point the finger of how somebody decides to figure out how to survive, right? The survival mode, there's this survival oppressive systemic system that's happening in Haiti. And so for me, I think that we started an initiative about 3 weeks ago called the Sovereign Table, where we are inviting, we said it's time for all of the Haitians to come to the table for us to have a talk. And we've invited all stakeholders, from gang leaders to youth to citizens, as long as they abide through the sacred space of what it is that we are creating. And for us to identify, well, yes, you may be a gang chief and you may be a resident, you may be a police officer, and you may be an oligarch, but where is our shared purpose? Because we have a shared purpose. There's a place where it overlaps. And when you if you speak to people one-on-one and people that are in politics, when you hear them, it sounds like they want freedom. It sounds like they want economic sovereignty, but it is the fear. It is the centuries of trauma that is ingrained within us, that is causing us, as a people, to truly have a disassociation as a culture. And I will actually say this to the point where I feel like Haiti has gotten so bad because people are like, at least as Haitians, and I see this happening in my family, let's not address the problem. Let's act like it's not there. And let's continuing feeding the lie and the story. But I think it's time to share his message of inviting everybody to the table, inviting everybody an opportunity to choose the righteous path and why, right? It's not only like, okay, well, be righteous. It's saying, it's being able to empathize with the gang chief and understand how they these are young kids. That's another thing. The chiefs might be a little bit older, but the majority of them are teenagers, and they are young, in their young 20s. Like they're young kids, right? So their brains haven't even fully developed yet. Mm-hmm. Right? And so can we continuously keep sowing these seeds and telling the other stories that allow us to really see the full story, right? The full narrative. Because my peers, I will tell you, if I did not search for my history, if I did not take my responsibility and learn my history for myself, I would never know my identity, because they did not teach me about who was Dessalines. And I went to private school, right? They did not tell me where Black history started. They did not tell me about any of these things. And so I have peers, and I have people that have never been able, they're first generation Americans, but they don't understand their responsibility to return back to the island. right? And to provide their inherent intellectual property, because they don't know their identity. And that's Kamal's whole thing, understanding your spiritual identity and your DNA code. And that comes from teaching the real narrative. And the majority of the diaspora does not know the Haitian narrative. They actually do not know the Haitian story. And for me, I want to take this as an opportunity to reclaim our narrative, reclaim our spiritual identity, using the content and the structures that Kamal has left, that has, set up for us. I will pause because I need a drink of tea.
I like that one. You need a drink of tea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I think that well, first and foremost, thank you for just giving us some context of where the generational group is shifting to be more responsive regarding who we are, our identity, our responsibility to our communities, where we sit, but also where our roots are grounded. And I think I'm going to give that moment of clarity and disclosure, because sometimes when we're doing these types of conversations, sometimes it gets, persons think that we're only focusing on one portion. So again, we're going to reiterate, we're looking for our brother Kamal Muhammad in Haiti that has been doing great work around sovereignty and self-sufficiency for all of Haiti, and has served as a leader in that respect. We've heard reflections and representations of the unapologetic form in which our brother has worked and organized on the ground in Haiti before his disappearance. And we're commanding that his safe return, unharmed, fully protected, and all other captives manifest, right? We're not speaking this as if we know something may have happened, and we're just anticipating and really speaking truth as power, that he is safe and that he will be returned, even though we know that there's a possibility that that may not be the case. And it's really important to know that the work will continue. I'm very grateful that you were able to highlight specifically your skill set that facilitates your ability to use technology, ancestral wisdom, a variety of other social quantifiers that will facilitate keeping this work going. It's important for persons to know that there is an agricultural component, that there is a solar system and energy development component, that there is an educational component to facilitate all of that, and that the security is always included in all of that regarding what is happening on the ground in Haiti. So, Brother Felipe, were there other elements that you desired to have highlighted?
No, I think that you've done an excellent job. First of all, we want to thank you for your prompt response and making this platform available and accommodating it, as well as Sister Saskia, because we just came off a call at started at 7 o'clock, so it's been a marathon. So, but she has the youth, she has the energy, and she has the clarity. I think that the elements that have been highlighted in terms of there's infrastructure, there's culture that has been discussed in the and has been that has been developed as the popular committees within the COSAHA, and to the extent that those continue, then it has been stimulated by the leadership of Brother Kamal. But I feel confident, even from this evening's discussion, that this work will continue, and that the youth, that they have captured the imaginations of the youth in order for it to continue. It is our determination to make sure that the rest of the world is not only aware, but is able to be similarly motivated and inspired by this example of self-determination and sovereignty, because it is possible for all of us, for those who are colonies still, like the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, or as well as those who are neo-colonies, like Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica. And I'm just speaking about the Caribbean, I'm not speaking about the continent.
Right.
We are now in a process of major change, and I think that I'm grateful for the opportunity to highlight and support the secure release of Brother Kamal Muhammad. Thank you.
Right. Well, I'm just grateful that we were able to even have the conversation. I know that we'll be coming back, and as there's other things that you would like to have highlighted, but please provide some context as well as some contact, so that persons, if they want to find out more information, if they want to be a part of the Deeds Initiative, if they would like to continue to provide some organizational support for what you have in place, which is coming up pretty soon. I was hearing dates around August 22nd and 23rd. So if you can speak to that, and then of course give some contact information, please.
So on August 22nd and 23rd, and so this is what we would be doing every month. However, so prior to the following month, that last weekend, on that Friday and Saturday, we will have a 2-day conference every month for the next year. And it's to identify the greatest challenges that are facing Haiti right now. And so for this one that is coming up, we will strictly focus on this sovereign contract, right? What does it look like? What does an agreement, what do multiple sovereign contracts look like for different stakeholders? How do we galvanize $1 million for Sita Abundance using this methodology? This methodology is a 6-step strategy. It starts with identifying, where you're identifying the problem, you are pointing it out. In this case, it would be, I would like to see in this next conference, this gathering of minds, because we're looking to gather up to 100 stakeholders. And so when I say stakeholders, these are allies, these are investors, these are people on the ground, anybody that wants to participate in the solution of an economic sovereign, a sovereign economic Haiti. And so over those 2 days, we will go through the methodology of identifying the problem, defining it, gathering all of the facts, gathering all of the data. That's another thing. It is very important that we are building off of truth, that we are building off of facts, and we understand the information that we have. Then it is to empathize, right? And that's a step. A lot of times when people are coming in, they forget. In terms of the diaspora, we think we know what they need. It's understanding and allowing them, and allowing ourselves to embody the circumstances and the challenges, and hear from the people directly about how these things are impacting them, or how they are dealing with them currently, the challenges. And then after that, we will ideate. We will think of all different types of strategies, crazy strategies, traditional strategies. And then we will ideate. Then we will create, which is where we will put together the impact models that we would like to apply for that following month. So this will be for the following month of September. And our hope is to come up with a community-based deed, which would be the Conbit Kamal, that will allow us to hit our goal of all of the things that you listed, the safe return of Kamal, the full economic sovereignty of Sita Abundance, being able to produce these actual contracts and distribute them effectively, locally, getting signatures of people to support us, mobilizing the diaspora. That's really, and I want to piggyback on the millennials and Gen Z. It is very important for us to engage them back to the home of Haiti. The majority of those that are in the diaspora, they have the intellectual property to come together and build this movement. We see what they did with Free Palestine. You know, they were going to, I'm in Boston, Massachusetts, where Harvard and MIT is. Okay, so I watched these students go to jail. I was at a graduation. Like, they created a huge movement. So right now, this upcoming, the reasons that we were focusing in on universities is this upcoming semester, I will be galvanizing Haitian students all across Boston for this movement. We've created this game of deeds, right, to apply to the social media strategy. It's not a game at all. We're testing a governing system that we hope that after 12 months, we can actually launch it as a government, as our ethical methodology. But right now, it is to get every generation, from the baby boomers to Gen Z, in this movement and understanding how everyone participates and contributes to the advancement of an economic and sovereign Haiti.
Advancement of an economic and sovereign. I'm just making sure I know our lines so we know what to support, because we're definitely saying a luta continua, you know, and I think this is I want to commend you for even hosting these particular convenings around significant, and I'm sure it was intentional, if not ancestral, to have these convenings happening around the same time where Haiti observes what is now referred to as the International Day for the Remembrance of the Slave Trade and the Abolition, but it's specific to a day that commemorates the anniversary of the 1791 uprisings. And
yes,
I think it's important that persons, you know, because that was what led to that whole initiation of the end of chattel enslavement in a way in this region, and of course to the ultimate independence of Haiti across the board. And when I speak of Haiti, I'm speaking of Haiti, the entire Quisqueya, the entire Hispaniola that is now split between República Dominicana and Haiti. So I think it's important for persons to know that this is also what you're doing on the 22nd and the 23rd is tied to that day of August 23rd, 1791. So the persons just know that, you know, and again, maybe you didn't plan it like that, or maybe you
did. I sure did. And I said, we having a Haitian Revolution 2.0.
There we go. I like that.
I would message him and I'll be like, 26 days to launch.
Yes, sir. Wonderful.
No, we were ready. You know, we were ready. Good. So, and we're still ready. I know he's probably sitting somewhere like, she better be coming up with something with her big brain to get me out of here. And I am. And so we will continue the work, and we will commemorate. Come on.
Right. And we commend you and give a lot of strength and power. I think it's also a good time, with it being on the eve of even the commemorative observances and the spiritual ancestral ceremonies that are done in honor of the Bookman, you know, around this whole Bois Caiman. So I'm just saying that whole time is ceremonial.
All of August for us.
Right. You can speak to what took place that same year, you know, around August 14th, because we're going with what took place during this time, you know, centuries
Don't
ago.
forget August 1st, Emancipation Day, Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I mean, emancipation for all other former British colonial spaces. I mean, that was like what, you know, kind of led into that. And it was wonderful to have, it's always phenomenal for us, especially as sisters, to see that emancipation, August 1st, here in the Virgin Islands, we recognize the birth of another great father of Pan-Africanism, Reverend Dr. Edward Wilmot Blyden. And then it just keeps going. It's like, Jamaica's independence on August 6th. I mean, it's like something every day, literally every day.
Well, this year in Trinidad, they changed the name of Oxford Street to Kwame Ture Street, which was great. That's where he was born. And
Wonderful.
they also took down Columbus's statue. So those are two
Excellent.
important symbolic removals of symbols of oppression in the
Excellent.
Caribbean.
And
I want
thank
to
you.
thank you, sister, for having us, Dr. Chen.
Right. Well, we're looking forward to the next time. And with that, I will ask that you keep us informed. Make sure is there a particular email or a website that we should be going to, or
Yes, you can email me at sana@diaspora-deeds. And my website's not that great, but you can go to
that's okay. No, we're good. I'm
Sana at
diaspora-deeds.com.
Yep, .com. Yeah,
Make sure I put it in here correctly so I don't post it incorrectly.
For sure. And if you would like, I can send you the information if people would like to sign up for, for the 22nd and the 23rd, if they want to be one of those 100 people that, commit.
I'm going to say it one more time. Queen Mother Dr. Chenzera like to do action thing. I like actionable deliverables. So once you give us the instruction and we're going to put this out, just prepare your email or whatever space you have in social media so persons can already go ahead and start to commit for how they can invest. And so we have a concept called SIP. You know how we like to sip thing? We always say one sip. Sometimes you drink sip as soup. Sometimes you drink sip as beverage. Support, invest, promote. Did you get that one? Right. Support, invest, promote. So that way we can actually see truth to power and truth as power manifest. So thank you again. I think we lost our brother. But
yes.
Brother Felipe Noguera, for sharing so much information with us and giving us an opportunity to really put out the message for the return of our brother safely protected, and all of his family and those surrounding him, our brother Kamal Muhammad, and for you as well, Sister Saskia, because we want to make sure that you're safe as well.
Thank you.
Make sure for the work that you're doing that you're safe as well. And again, thank you for joining us tonight. Again, this has been another live broadcast of AST Speaks, Building a New Legacy with your host, Queen Mother Dr. Chenzera. We're really putting out positive prayers and actionable deliverables for our brothers and sisters in IET, as well as in the IET diaspora, and for all of our African brothers and humanity that are being forced into inhumane spaces, places, and forms of imbalance. So with that, we know that culture heals humanity, land is our foundation, and spiritual harmony unifies us, and we look forward to you joining us for our next broadcast here, live on AST Speaks. All the best. Heads up. Blessings.
Peace. Shalom. Thank you.